the left has always valued themselves or seen themselves as the rational or hyper rational group of people. But from the reactions I've been seeing from this, what Trump's been doing, a lot of, especially Doge and Elon Musk and all that, it's irrational. These people are meltdown. I mean, just the instantaneous meltdown on the verge of it all the time. I mean, it's just
Well,
ridiculous.
not only that, they don't represent the average Democrat. They're
No.
they're crazy, and the average Democrat probably voted for Trump.
Yeah, well, that's
Probably.
yeah, because face it, what they give them? What choice they give them? They give them Harris. I mean, she wasn't even primaried. She was sent to him, just given to him, like, hey, you got to accept this booby prize. I mean, she cackled through the entire. I mean, she spent overspent during the entire campaign cycle. She was only what 3 months or whatever. She spent over $1 billion and no effect. I mean, and there's such a I mean, I'm serious. I'm just getting sick of it. I've had friends for years, and I'm seeing them post stuff on Facebook that makes me think about just blocking them, not ever talking to them again because of this ridiculous
Well, I
stuff they're
think it
saying.
helps because if they're not people that are close friends or people that I work with and I respect at work that I work with, I delete anybody that posts a Trump thing or a, you know what I mean? I don't
Mhm.
want to see it. If I want to see it, I'll go to a page and look at it. I don't. I want to know what's going on with my friends.
I don't
Yeah.
need to know what your political views are
No,
today. I really don't. This is getting so stupid. Everybody, oh my God, you got to see what Trump did today. Here's the thing. I don't understand this. It was with Elizabeth Warren, all these congressmen that stood up there the other day in front of the U.S.
right?
Education Center.
Arguing to spend money that not to save money, to spend money on stupid things that's been proven that is a
Stupid.
waste of money.
Right. I mean, we've got stuff. I mean, we've talked about it. We're not even going to talk about it, but here's the deal. What I don't understand is when I was growing up, my dad used to say the guys that are screaming the loudest are usually the most guilty people.
Mhm.
So why are you screaming the loudest about all these different things about money? And then here's the question: are you so afraid that they're going to find how much money is coming back to
Well,
you?
but it's the same thing that me and John's always talked about. The only kind of news is you see is East Coast and left coast,
Right. In
and then
Chicago.
Washington D.C.
Right.
Like it's the most important thing. What Maxine Waters thinks. I think the average person doesn't give a shit what Maxine Waters thinks.
She's from California, right? Because I think I've
She
seen
is.
picture. Yeah,
California, yeah.
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 I've seen pictures of her district. It looks like someplace you'd see in Peru or South or Central American country. Her district does. I mean, the potholes and debris, and it looks like a continuous ghetto. I mean, I'm serious, a
My
bad
thought is,
ghetto.
But
why won't you be more worried about what happens in
right.
your area?
But what I'm trying to say is people are waking up and they're seeing people for who they are.
Right.
I think even in California after this wildfire, and come on, why does it take Trump to come in and turn the water on? Wouldn't common sense dictate? I mean, I don't take their side or anything, but don't you think that the people are waking up?
I would hope so. I
I
mean,
mean,
I
I,
would hope so.
I don't know. I
I
really
think
don't.
so. I honestly
I,
think so.
I think the common people, yes, I would say
But
that.
the common people are realizing that they have power.
Right.
Well, the thing is,
They're the common people put Trump in there,
Right.
yeah, just
and not somebody who was bestowed on upon them. Her Majesty Kamala Harris.
yeah. I mean, I can't believe that they accepted that so easily. I mean, if I were them, I would have been screaming bloody murder because they had to know. Everybody who had a working brain cell had to know that she was not electable. I mean, all she did is cackle. I mean, I got sick of it.
Right,
That laugh every time they
but
asked a question, any kind of
but don't
question.
you think people are looking at the media and they're turning it off?
Mhm.
I
Well,
mean, even Fox News is being turned off.
what even but you look at the legacy media, then you look at all this stuff that they're finding out with all this abuse and running
But
and the waste, and you're finding out that wait a second, political got paid this amount of money for this,
right.
political
But
got paid
what I'm
this,
trying to
he's got
say
paid this
is
amount.
people are waking up and they're not being spoon fed anymore because they don't have to be. Because, like you said, the information's out there for people to see, and they're actually going with TikTok, YouTube, and Rumble, and seeing what's out there.
And even if they're, and I know that people are going to say, well, misinformation, even if they're getting misinformation, a lot of people saying, I don't think that sounds right. I'm going to go back and they delve deeper. This has actually been, I think this has been very critical in bringing people to do research on their own. And that's another
Well,
thing.
and look at the people who are the ones pointing the fingers and usually saying it's misinformation are the ones that give out misinformation.
That's the
Right.
general go-to position.
Look at
Misinformation.
60 Minutes.
Yeah.
That whole interview with Kamala Harris was misinformation.
Right. Because they just severely edit it and stuff to make her
Oh
look
yeah, they
reasonably intelligent.
they actually showed the whole thing exactly what she said, and then they showed what they edited, and everything like that. So now you're knowing you can't even trust what 60 Minutes puts out there. You know you can't trust what everyone else does because Joe Rogan came out and said, "Listen, this is what this person said that they were going to do and what they wanted and how they wanted it to be." So you know that all these
It's
different
not
things
only
are
Joe Rogan anymore. The average person doesn't watch Joe Rogan. The average person watches people like us,
us and other shows,
and they
right?
don't give a shit about Joe Rogan.
Well, they also came out with the other day.
No,
Didn't,
it's
didn't
just
the shares the other day come out with the View? The View came out with like a
and
3.2% rating.
To how
of
much?
what? Of what? Well, 3 point what of a
Nielsen
million of
rating.
a million people?
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's not even so they're not even
okay.
pulling it right
When I
now.
was in the military, they said when numbers don't make it, use percentages.
Right.
Instead of saying if you got a 6 member squad and three of them passed,
Right.
50% of my squad passed, which
Correct.
sounds better.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
50%. Yeah.
50%.
So yeah, they give you those numbers to just
No,
to
I'm
confuse you. The View has no viewership.
no.
When they're and the thing is that when you see if you're a business person involved in one of those legacy networks, the one that's puts on the View, when you say we're not getting enough ad revenue coming from these people are falling away
Because
from
they're
it.
probably getting paid enough for the people that want to spew the BS. The BS spewers
Mhm.
are the ones that are paying for it, not the advertisers.
Because I don't know who to. I wouldn't if I was a major company. I wouldn't want to advertise during the time of the View slot. I mean, I wouldn't want to. I mean, it's a very unpopular show.
But it's all coming in. If you actually are watching this, it's kind of weird, but it's all coming in. If you're watching these reports and everything coming out,
But
it's all coming in. Our tax dollars is paying for this. Your and my
right,
money is paying
exactly.
for all this
But you
crap.
but it's nice to have a common sense president who says that to coin pennies costs too much, and these damn paper
Paper straws.
straws suck.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh, then they also every time I see one of them, they come in a plastic wrapper. Well, what the hell's the point of having
A paper straw
in
and a plastic
in a
wrapper.
plastic
Yeah,
wrapper? Doesn't make any damn sense. I mean, okay, I get plasticware. That it's actually totally biodegradable. I get it at Kroger's. Okay, you can get straws made of the similar material, one use for whatever falls apart if it goes to the ground, it breaks apart into nothing. This stuff's made out of some kind of vegetable matter or
Right.
whatever they make it out of. I don't know what it was, but they break down
Yeah,
totally.
I've seen that too. It's
Yeah.
a plastic that
Right.
breaks down.
Yeah, I mean, I got them. I used them because I bought them one time. And I looked at them. I didn't even anticipate buying them. I just grabbed them off the shelf, and I saw that these are totally biodegradable. I went, "That's perfect." So why can't we make plastics out
But
of it?
it's the same thing. Like
Make straws out of
like
it.
the USAD, out of 14,000 employees,
Only 200.
only 200 and change were essential employees.
But that's a. I mean, that should be a great incentive. I mean, right there, I couldn't imagine the people who are actually true necessary workers. They could get a boost in their
But
pay,
the
don't
thing
you
about
think?
it, people are going, "Oh, these people are no, they're not losing their jobs. 9 times out of 10, they're put somewhere else and just put under the same name. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. There's
Under a different name
Right.
within Washington.
Well, just I don't see why they would be like. I don't know why everybody would think should be sacrosanct. And let's face it, you and I we all grew up
Well,
around
we grew up in a union town,
town.
John, and oh my God, if a union employee lost their job, it's the end of the world. But if a regular person loses their job, big
Oh, wow.
deal.
Yeah, it's big is because they didn't belong to the certain right club, and that's another thing is people don't understand that too. I had a friend whose family were UAW members, and he didn't see it as like a us against them thing because he said, well, the unions are kind of a leveling thing. They actually elevated the working classes, and if you didn't belong to the union, they looked down on you. If you, I mean, and I saw that time and time
And think
again.
about it. I mean, when we were old enough to start working in the factories, we couldn't get a job because it was nepotism and cronyism.
Right.
Because you had to know somebody that was
In the
working
union.
there to get a recommendation to get a job.
And ironically, didn't they say that one of the purpose of the union was to eliminate nepotism, favoritism, and cronyism? Right. That's some of the reasons why they started the union. And basically, like you said, the last round of hiring the GM did in Genesee County, that you had to be connected to a UAW member, which is flies in the face of the creation of the union in the first place. So I don't know. It's like everybody becomes a hypocrite eventually, I guess.
Well, what do you think about Trump deciding that he just wiped out the whole board of the Kennedy Center and put his own people in there? And now he made himself the chairman, saying that he's doing away with woke uh, drag shows for kids.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't. I can see
100%
that.
agree with
I
that.
probably it's like
There's-
ridiculous.
Come on, it's turning everybody back to reality, and it's
But-
back to being common sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's actually having a president that actually has this backbone to stand up and say, you know what, it's time for family values once again.
And at the end of his press conference today, when he spent like almost an hour signing executive orders and talking to the press. At the end of he said woke is dead.
Yeah, I mean, we're just getting sick of it. I mean, like, I just looked down and I saw the, mention about the Super Bowl, which I didn't watch, but all the people I saw's reaction to the Super Bowl's halftime show was, I've only saw one person post something positive, and it was a person I'd read before, and this person was a Looney Tune. But I mean, everybody else said this sucked. This sucked. This was the worst halftime show I ever saw.
What isn't it to me? It's a time for nostalgia,
Right.
and to go back, and it's for the Super Bowls for families and friends to come
Right.
together
Right.
and watch it. You should have somebody, even if it's bringing Janet Jackson back or Justin Timberlake, somebody that more people can relate to.
Because I think everybody's getting tired of getting preached to, and I guess that's what all the symbolism behind that whole presentation at the halftime was supposed to be about.
Every time you bring back these rappers, these,
I'm fine with the rappers. The 50 Cent one,
Yeah.
that was fine. That was entertainment. And a lot of people enjoyed it just because it
every
and
time
some
you
of the
bring-
songs
but
I
some of these guys
knew.
you bring back. Sometimes you bring some of these guys back. A lot of it's like, go to the man, and it's like I get tired of it. Listen, just bring back something that everybody can sit there and
And
listen
that's
to
what
it.
we're saying.
Yeah.
If you're gonna make it family friendly,
Because
that everybody can get into.
all I saw was this guy like moving his
And yeah,
shoulders
exactly.
back and forth.
And then the message was so great that you had to have somebody else decode it for you. So it wasn't much of a message, was it?
Yeah, I don't know. Like this, and another thing is too that they pass out flyers to tell people how to interpret what was being seen.
It was not even worth it. I think a lot of people
think-
turned the halftime off.
I turned it over to watch another segment of Bull. That's what I was watching.
What
Yeah.
Bull?
Bull, yeah, it was a lawyer movie.
Oh, see,
So-
another thing is too. I mean, I got tired. I'm getting tired of hearing about Taylor Swift and her boyfriend.
Oh,
I'm
and I
getting
think
damn
that's
tired of
done too.
that.
I
It
mean,
was.
she
I
was
gotta be honest.
booed, so
Hey, did you watch the Super Bowl?
no, I did not.
It was about the most boring Super Bowl I ever watched.
But the thing is, if I don't have a team in there
No.
that I don't care about.
the Lions weren't playing. I wasn't really caring.
No.
I was like, no, I mean, that's another thing is too. Lions did pretty well for this year. I mean,
Yep.
they started doing something, and let's hope they maintain it next season. Because the only reason why I like any kind of sports sport because it has a good positive effect psychologically
Right.
for some reason and economically in the area.
But don't you
That's
think
about it.
Taylor Swift was trying to be? She was pushed on us like she's
Oh, yeah.
the next big thing, like Kamala Harris. And
Definitely.
remember how they said, "Oh my God, Taylor Swift is behind Kamala Harris. Trump can't possibly win now."
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it's like all those celebrities. Yeah, so what?
Oh, Taylor Swift. If she says this is
No,
good,
I'm
she's
fine
golden.
with Taylor Swift.
But she's not the golden touch.
But
for
you've
everybody.
never listened to any of her songs in your life. Yes,
No.
you have. It's
I've
on the
heard-
radio. When we were in when we went to eat Chinese, like
Yeah.
90% of the songs were
Taylor
Taylor
Swift. I mean, I
You've
just
heard
So
'em.
you can't take it away from her. She's a great entertainer.
she made
Right.
damn
and
good
a lot
money.
of people love her.
She
You
makes
can't
money.
take that away from her.
No,
but,
I don't take
but the
anything
thing
away
is,
from her work.
they tried to use her as a political weapon, and that's if I was in the entertainment business making a lot of money, I'd say I wouldn't want either side.
No, see, I would just try to keep on what my talent was about. Just stay relevant on that. It's like, I mean, let's face it, people are going to have their own opinions because their own reality, and I'm not going to try to interlope myself, especially when I'm a multi-billionaire.
But I mean,
Who's
Tell
the
them
guy
that's how
that-
they should
who's
be.
the guy that is with Goldie Hawn?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
You know, I like Kurt Russell. You know, I like him.
he doesn't sing.
No,
yeah,
sorry, I know that. But you know, I like Kurt Russell. The one thing I like about acting, you know what he says? He said this. He says, "I'm here to. I go there to play a role in a movie. Nobody cares about my politics. Someone needs to care about my politics.
So
all I do
what
is
you're
go
saying
do
is
my-
he says I'm a dumb actor and you shouldn't listen to
pretty
me.
much.
Just
That's what
basically-
he said.
Yeah, let me go do my part. Let me
Right.
do my job. Like you do your job.
Same
We all do
thing
our
when
jobs.
when Elvis Presley was asked how he felt about a political race. He said, "I'm just a singer.
Just like Anthony.
No, people don't pay to hear me talk about politicians. They come to hear me sing."
Well, Anthony Hopkins said that a few years ago too, with political cycle. He said, "I'm an actor. I act. Okay, that's it. That's my
Well, that was
specialty."
the same thing when that interview because Donald Trump was using I'm not sure which one of Elton John's songs, and they were interviewing Elton
Rocket
John,
Man.
Yeah.
expecting him to say something. How do you feel? He said, "I feel great. I haven't got more plays for Rocket Man in years.
Okay, so they've always had this debate in sports about basketball, because basketball I follow because I used to coach it. So they always had this one biggest debate about who's better, LeBron James or Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. LeBron James is LeBron James, and there's no sense of even
But
bringing. No, that you
but
can't.
here's the
They're
one thing.
two different
They're two
types
different
of
guys, two
players.
different eras. But here's one of the things is, you know what Michael Jordan said about his sales and his stuff like that? That's what he said. He goes, you know what? The reason why I never get into politics or in any social matters
Because
for people, because guess what? Both sides of the aisle buy my clothes. I don't need to get involved into people's
It's
lives.
smart because it's
It was all about a business.
why
for
shut
him.
why open your mouth and
Yep.
eliminate some purchases, man? That's stupid. I mean,
But what do you think about the 19-year-old big balls being rejoining
I swear to
Doge?
God.
I think it's great. I mean, it's like they're always making a big deal about these people being not voted in. Like you guys we've always had foreigners run our country.
None of Trump's staff or none of Biden's staff was voted in. They
Right.
were appointed
Right.
by Biden and appointed by Trump, and that's what every president does. And whether they like it or not, Doge is part of Trump's staff.
Right. I mean, another thing is too, they were
Or-
making what
The guys at USAID, guess what? Those guys are not.
they're not voted in. Yeah, and they're spending our money. I mean,
Right.
these guys are trying to save us money from Doge. You guys are idiot. I mean, it is so insane to hear such anger about people who are undercovering waste and stupid spending,
What
and they're getting furious about it.
what about how they're so upset because FEMA CFO and 3 others were fired over $59 a payout to housing for illegals after they were told not to do it? I mean, not only but they got the money back.
Oh, they
Oh,
got.
she was not thinking she was gonna get fired.
That's ballsy as hell. I mean, when you're told not to do it, and you go ahead and do it anyway. What do you expect? I mean, it's like if I were them, I'd try to pursue liquidating her personal assets to pay a chunk back if they didn't.
She ran right to the news stations.
Yeah, I
right
mean,
after she got fired. I can't
$59
believe they
million.
fired her.
$59 million. That's a hell of a lot of money, and
Well,
they're the
think about it.
illegals.
I mean, you
Chrissy
still got
Nolan.
North Carolina and then you got California. That would go a long way because whether you like it or not, Los Angeles is an important
Yeah,
Right.
city in the United States.
You still gotta help them. They're people. You gotta help them.
Well,
commission.
what I'm talking about the area and what it means to
Right.
the United States that the city should be fixed, but there should be restrictions on the money.
But another thing is they should start. I mean, they're okay. Even after Trump spoke, they're still trying to. The officials in California are still pushing for delays and want more delays because they don't want a catastrophic environmental hazard thing or something. I mean, come on, let these people build their damn houses or find something going on for themselves.
But you
Gavin
think about
Newsom's
it-
Gavin Newsom went back right to his old self about
But-
doing these weird things, houses.
But think about it. In this room, there's environmental hazards. There's off gassing from the paint in the ceiling, from this table.
Yeah.
You can't get away from poisons in your life.
Nope. I mean, it's like another thing. It's like today I cooked up some pasta dish, put it in the microwave, and I'm saying that's made in plastic. It's got a cover of film of plastic over it. How many millions of particles of plastic have I taken in the past 20 years?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, talking about cooking. Do you know how to make cocoa wheat? Have you ever made cocoa wheat before?
Cocoa wheat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever made cocoa wheat?
I don't know. What does that have to do with what we're talking about?
I don't know. I was just curious. Okay, I'll tell you later. Hi, Julie. So go ahead.
Anyway, now poll surprising the ICE approval rates. I mean, I always thought there were people going to be boo hissing, but a lot of people are glad to see the ICE people show
Well,
up.
no. What they're doing is they're warning that, and Holman put out today that he will go after the leaker, and
And
they will not only be fired, but they'll be brought up on charges
Or treason.
because they're putting people in. They're putting FBI or not FBI, but ICE agents and local police and law enforcement in danger by because somebody's gonna, if they know where they're gonna go and they can set up, they could kill them.
Well, you bring this up. I just saw something earlier, and can't remember where the source I saw, but now there's an information that FBI has been telling people, their agents, not to help ICE agents, which is now you're creating like a schism within the federal government itself, which I'm all for if they turn on each other. But I'd like to see the people go on and do what they're supposed to do. But
This administration is being run like a business, which is really, really great. It's
Mm.
multiple departments, but coming together and working together as one team. And I was telling this to Julie the other day. this is the most vigorous I've seen a administration since I would say John F. Kennedy or something like that.
I
Wait,
These guys are working good together.
I think this is totally different from anything because Trump
ever
is
seen
Trump
before.
is
this guy's
doing it.
perpetual motion. He's like now in
He's
Europe.
putting out so much because today you find out that Russia freed an American teacher,
Yeah.
Mark Fogel, from prison. But I mean, it's going to be a prisoner exchange.
Right.
They didn't say who
We had
But
but
they didn't
nobody even knew that they were even working on this.
No.
Nobody even knew they were in Russia.
and which means he probably was doing this before he took the oath of
But
office. to go
General
back in
Kellogg
office.
is over in he's over there now talking to people.
But they also said this is the same thing. This actually is a how do I'm looking for as a good sign for a negotiation to end that war in Ukraine.
It could be. I mean, I could see that possibly. Yeah. I
Because
mean,
Well, Trump
basically-
said that he's going to, and they keep on going. They always want him to tell what's your plan. Why would he tell them their plan?
because
His
they,
plan.
yeah, by telling it, they're sabotaging it. I mean, he's got stuff in the works, and
You saw this today, didn't you? Or when the Keenan Jordan came in, when they brought the Keenan Jordan in to see him today, when the Keenan Jordan got to the White House, and the stupid reporter goes, "What are you gonna do?" And here's the Keenan Jordan is coming out of the car, and this is what the reporter goes, "What are you gonna do when if he says he's not going to accept your plan?" I mean, the guy hadn't even made 2 steps out of the car, and here's a stupid reporter asking this question. It's like, how stupid are you?
We're
How
talking about the
dumb are
plan
you?
on Gaza to resettle
Yeah,
the people.
It's like, how dumb are you? Can you just let these guys at least get in and talk a little bit before you blurt out every little?
I'm sure it's going to be recorded. The entire conversation is going to be recorded, so they can review it later.
Sometimes it's stupid.
Now, another thing is too, like I'm going to bring this like too. We were talking about Doge going around cutting to cost for us and seeing where the stupid spending's been going. More locally, our governor Whitmer wants to raise taxes on corporations, small business, so pay for the damn road she got like to done. I mean,
Well, did you see where she wants to spend $39 billion or $1 million in order to save $4 million annually by digitizing records and permits? She's going to spend $39
right?
million to save $4 million per year. It's a long time.
Yeah, to be
recoup
paid
your
back. Yeah.
costs.
And the thing is too with this digitalization, something's going to come up that's better or something like that down the road, and you're going to have to shift it anyway. I mean, into
Well,
that
I
kind of
just
format.
remember how good that it is digitalization. I can't even speak English, but when we had to get his birth certificate, it had been copied so many times. His name turned out Elvis. His birth certificate came back with Elvis, and we couldn't get it fixed because they didn't have the original.
Oh gosh. Okay, so she's so stupid because she doesn't even understand that once she does this thing, it turns.
No, she knows. She's not stupid. She knows exactly what she's doing because probably her buddies are the agencies that are going to be,
and she's gonna get a kick.
going to be, the contractors. She's going to get money. They all get money. I mean, think about it. They said Omar. I forget how many millions of dollars Omar is worth.
And these are people that
Congressman Omar, the one that married her brother so he could stay in the States.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
Okay, the USA,
they're all crazy. They all have crazy money, even the Republicans.
yeah, I mean,
Look at your boy Crenshaw.
Yeah, oh yeah,
The
he's
pirate.
yeah. I mean, he was like whining about they want to curtail their be able to trade when they're in the position they're supposed to be in, representing us. I think that definitely. I mean, how can that not create conflict of interest? The defense spending or any other thing domestically going on, you're going to profit off if you push the people, the contractors or whatever, are making the bid because they already approached you. They already got you figured in for a cut. I mean, serious.
You're good with math.
No, I'm not.
Steve, are you good?
What do you got to say there?
So if you make $200,000 a year, how can you come up with $30 million in 4 years?
I'd like to know that because I mean, I would go and get some. I'd borrow money to
USAID.
Yeah,
because that's what the girl that got fired from USAID, Sandra Powers, that's what she was worth. Okay, so her salary is $200,000. In 4 years, she's worth $30 million. That's found in this.
It's crazy.
I mean, it's like
I don't know if also in there the Hillary Clinton's daughter
That hasn't
Her
been.
wedding was
All right.
possibly paid for by USAID.
Yeah, because I heard it was around like $2 million for the wedding.
3 million.
3 million?
Yep.
Because yeah, it was recent. And I mean, they're wealthy families.
Impossible $10 million.
Well,
Hasn't been confirmed all the way totally through, but off this $85 million that's supposed to go to Haiti. If you've been over to Haiti, if you looked at Haiti, pictures of Haiti, that $85 million
Didn't get over
kind of
there.
probably hasn't made it over there yet.
Yeah.
But $10 million surprisingly bought a mansion somewhere where, Chelsea's been. So here's the thought. Could that be found out if it got verified? Could they have to sell that house
I don't
and
know.
return
I
the money
doubt.
back?
I doubt it. No, they're so protected. I mean, who's going to claw? Who's going to claw? Make
Well,
them
what do you think? What do you think about
The DOJ.
Justice Department seeks the dismissal of case against New York City mayor?
I think that's the strongest move I've seen.
Well, that's because it was basically a punitive measure.
But
anyway,
now
wasn't
what
it?
they're saying is by Trump administration doing this, Trump's DOJ, that it's kickbacks because he's working with ICE to clean up the city.
But it was perfectly fine when they were working. He was allowing them to do whatever they wanted to do.
But what Trump's argument or Trump's administration's argument is that if you look at it, when he spoke out about Joe Biden's administration and the
Right.
illegals crushing his city, that's when the investigation started.
It was a payback for speaking out. I think it's a good move for the Trump era, DOJ to do this. I think it's a great idea, a great move.
But what they're saying is that if they go on with this, it would be because there's a election coming up in the fall, that this would be interference to have him under investigation. And
Yeah,
you know what
definitely.
I'm saying?
Yeah, it would be definitely. And from what I've seen, other than what he's done and what he spoke out against, because he didn't hold the party line and stuff like that. I respect that. He actually spoke out when there was a problem. He didn't try to conceal it. And I guess that makes him a traitor in the eyes of the Democrats. But
What do you think about all these federal judges making decisions like telling Trump that he's got to put back up these and restore these gender ideology websites?
I think that's way beyond the scope of what a judge is supposed to have. Myself, I mean, from what I've understood about, what their duties and their responsibilities are and what their powers are. I mean, I just think it's beyond that. I mean, it's activism. It's judicial activism.
Yeah, you can't.
It's
Say it
judge,
is,
it's
judicial,
judge shopping. Is
judicial.
what it is. It's judge shopping. And
Yeah.
it's actually,
Well, that's what they said. What happens is on Friday night in certain regions, I forget what, like the southern region of New York,
right. Or Boston.
that they're on call, the judges, and there's a list of names, and they know which judge is on the call on Friday night.
Well, this is what Chuck Schumer says he's going to do.
And that's how they shop the judges and get the ones that they want. They just wait until that judge is on
that
call.
is not what is constitutional, and they are breaking the law when they do that. And the reason is that when the Constitution was bid into it, because I was watching on this and I was watching the constitutional guys talking about it. Here's the deal: there is a truth that the judge that there is the side. You've got the executive, you got the judicial, and you've got the administrative. But here's the problem: the judicial has to be blind.
But it's not even. It's
It
not
cannot
even.
be. So you got to look
Okay,
at this.
but he has
no.
When they're talking about judicial, they're talking about the Supreme Court. They're not talking about
these
some little
local
federal
judges.
judge.
So a federal judge cannot. Somebody has been pointed.
That's what we're saying.
Should not have the right. He's got 300. So
Right,
basically, what they're
exactly.
saying is you got the president of the United States.
Right.
You got 365 federal judges out
Right.
there.
That's what we're
That's
saying.
trying
That's
to.
what we.
No, I know what you're saying.
But
I'm
you're
saying-
hogging the time.
I'm not sorry, forget it.
Yes.
Screw it. No, actually, I'm not going to say screw it. Here's the deal. They don't have the right to do it. It's not constitutional, and people keep saying it's.
That's what
constitutional.
we've just said, both of us.
But I think I definitely think it's an overreach. I mean, I never seen that much
But
of
the
an
problem is,
activist.
what can they do?
Nothing. We're just here to talk about the topics, glance over them, give people our personal opinions, not go in depth and trying to be a news reporter.
We're not, but I'm just questioning. What can they do? What
Nothing.
happens if Trump
Nothing.
says screw you?
Nothing.
I don't know. I don't know
That's
what recourse we would have. I
But
don't.
right now, what he's trying to do is push these issues so they go to the Supreme Court
Okay.
and get the Supreme Court to act and to make the decisions. And also, if you listen to Elon Musk and Donald Trump, yesterday, I think it was, said maybe some of these judges need to be recalled or removed.
Yeah, that's a possibility too. I mean, I don't, the activism is not something our founders really wanted any judge to be part of. No, they didn't. And I don't care what level the judge. I mean, they're supposed to have been unbiasedness. They're supposed to listen to the merits of the
Well,
case.
and
They don't do that.
what they were also saying is get rid of this DC Court of Appeals or whatever it is, and go back to Congress and make Congress do their job.
Yeah, but they don't want to
If
do.
they've got a problem with what's going on, go to Congress and say this is wrong. What he's doing, and that's
Fix it.
Congress is also supposed to hold the president's feet to the fire, just
By
like the
law.
Supreme Court, and that's the way it's supposed to go.
That's where it's about checks and balances. And thing is, I'd like to see it eventually go back to where we actually have the checks and balances and people calling each other out. For so long, they went along to get along because they're just one big country club out there in DC. And Trump was the outsider, and that's what they hate about him. Although he was immeasurably wealthier than most of them would be, but
The problem is now getting into the Supreme Court takes so long for long to get somebody up to the Supreme
Well,
Court.
what they're trying to do is go up with the emergency. I forget
Powers.
what the proper verbiage is for it, but to
Yeah.
go up to the Supreme Court and say you need to look at this now, because how can they hold up a president and how can a Supreme Court or not a Supreme Court, but a federal judge tell the president what he can do and what he can't do? They shouldn't be able to.
No.
Common sense, the average person knows that it's not
It
right.
should be the Supreme Court only.
that's where
Well,
they
the
should be
thing
winning.
is that they're weak kneed and they don't want to weigh in on anything. And when they do, they only give half an answer most of the time, anyways.
Yeah, and another thing is I don't know what's the breakdown for as far as being sympathetic or willing to work with Trump on the Supreme Court side right now because that's
Well,
pretty much up
I'm
in the air.
pretty sure that the Trump administration or the Department of Justice decides how these areas or how these court systems are set up and probably can change. And they're talking that they can change them, like they were trying to get rid of the whole southern New York, southern whatever
District.
region.
Mhm.
And just because why? Because there's what they're saying is it's too big, and they don't, and also to cut down on their staffing because they're too fat and they have too many people working for them.
Yeah, and I actually said the court. I just don't see I don't see the federal courts
Because they were never
should ever
meant
been
to,
have that much
they
power.
were never meant to do things like this. They were supposed to take care of the area of
I
whatever
don't
state
remember it
that
in
they're
the
set up.
Constitution.
I remember taking procedural law, which tells you which court has oversight on which which.
Right, but I never in the Constitution.
But it's
I've
usually
never
going
seen-
up. Usually it's you take something to your city or whatever or your county, you don't like it, you go up to the next one, then
Right.
you go to
Right.
state, and then you go. It wasn't meant to go. I'm gonna tell the president what to do.
Mhm.
And that's what it seems like. That's what they're activists. Simply they're
Because
activists.
they've been letting these people get away with this, and what's happened is Trump's putting his foot down.
Um,
I honestly think that Trump doesn't care. He only cares about fixing the country.
and I just he's more ballsy than anybody else I've ever seen. I mean, no other president has gone head to head as
And
as
that's the
often.
problem right there.
Yeah.
They don't know how to work that way.
No, they don't.
Well, they don't know what to do when he does this. He's got them all on the kick back on their heels right now because he just did like 5 things today. The steel.
Yeah.
He
Right,
raised
the tariff.
the tariffs to 25%
Right.
across the board. I mean, and
He's
he
got-
more or less said that he would work with countries that will work with him.
But you also got, but on the other side, you've got the Democrats on the one side who are coming over saying shit like, it's time to go on the street and fight. I'm sick of this.
But you know that there's so far and few in between. What Democrat? Okay, you come across Democrats
all the time.
Okay,
But
how
not-
many of
okay.
them are saying it? Only a handful of people are
The
saying this,
dumbasses
and
in
they
ABC.
try to make these people so important. It's the same thing. Like who make Charlie Kirk the king of the conservatives?
Republicans, nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
or any of these people. Why?
Right.
But they all think that they speak for
Everybody.
for everybody when they don't.
But you have these Democrats who are on TV all the time talking over and over and over, and you got these people.
But the average person doesn't watch them. You watch them, and I watch them because I want something to talk about on the show.
And I want to have different backup so I know what we're doing. But here's the deal: is that the problem is you get some person like Butler or some idiot like Florida that wants to take a shot at Trump or something because they just think that somebody pulls it out or something, they're going to take shots at them.
Yeah, and definitely when that woman, I can't remember her name, she was speaking about taking to the streets. That's inciting violence.
That was
Maxine Waters.
Maxine Waters. Okay, I thought there was another one.
How
that was
many
doing it
times
too.
does she have to say it before somebody on
Yeah.
on the one side says, "Okay, it's time to get this woman tried for half the shit she says"?
Yeah, she said get into people. Remember
But the
that?
thing about it, it's not going to happen unless
Why?
Because nobody's behind it. I mean, you're saying what needs to
Okay,
be
if
done,
you
but
said
how,
it,
how are
wait,
you
wait.
going to do it?
Steve, if Trump got up there and said, "You know what, it's time to take to the streets and everything like that," and
He's
then
not
something like
going
that.
to,
No,
though.
January 6th was all these people got arrested for it.
January 6th is over.
No, I know it's over, but all these people fucking, all these people went to freaking jail. All these people went to jail.
Okay, they're
all these
working
people
on
went
it
up to
right
it.
now, aren't they?
Yeah, they lost years of their lives
Okay,
because of
then
stuff
they're
like
not
this.
going to get it
They
back.
threw this all on Trump. But guess what? Maxine Waters says it all the time, but no one says anything about it because, hey, you know what? She's black and she's a congresswoman.
Okay.
I think she should be held to the same standard that they held the Trump supporters. I do believe they got to be held to the same standard.
So it's got to be.
It's got to be. Their feet's got to be held to
But
the fire.
unfortunately, she's protected.
Why?
She is.
What?
By being a congressperson.
No.
Yes, they write their own laws.
Well, so the Congress people are
can't-
more protected than the president.
No, the president has the same protections.
No, he's not. When Trump was the president, he wasn't even freaking first part protected. But Maxwell can say whatever she wants to.
Maxine
Waters
Yeah.
can say whatever she wants to say anytime she
To
wants
a certain
to.
point.
She's said it since 2017.
She said that what you're talking about. She said this years ago, and you're bringing it up like she said it yesterday.
Well,
She did say it yesterday. She said it today. She got in front of a guy's face yesterday
I mean,
and accosted a guy yesterday.
Obviously, it wasn't good enough because she wasn't arrested.
But she got a congresswoman over here on one side and says this: "You're not been accosted, and I want you to tell him." No, I watched it.
I think it's time to play the music.
Don't play the music right now, John.
Yeah, I know, because if you don't, I'm going to walk out.